The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. Today's lesson includes 8 characters, all of which are related to the pictogram for double doors. We'll begin with the character for door, doors, or gate. Pronounced second tone, men, men. To say there's someone at the door, you would say 有人在门口,有人在门口. The front door or main entrance to a house or building is 正门, 正门. To make a short trip or simply leave the house in the morning for school or work is 出门, 出门. The most important verb for doors is to open, which shows a pair of hands removing a bar from across a door. This ideogram is pronounced first tone, kai, kai. It's a simple action with several extended meanings, including to open up something closed or blocked. For example, to open the door, 开门, 开门. To break a seal, 开封, 开封. To open one's mouth is 开口, but to tell someone not to say a word, to zip it, would best be rendered as 不要开口, 不要开口. When a door is opened or a blockage removed, anything held within will naturally expand and spread outwards, which gives another useful expression, such as rumors spreading or water starting to boil. 水开了, the water's boiling. The unstressed le particle indicates this is a change in the situation, implying that somebody should remove the kettle from the fire. Once the water has boiled, it can be used to make tea or left to cool. It's now called 开水, boiled water. As I mentioned in a previous video, most Chinese expect drinking water to have been boiled and will rarely drink ice water, considering it bad for one's health. In a different context, 开水 could also be understood as a verb to mean turn on the water, literally, release the water so that it flows unobstructed. This is the origin of 开, meaning to begin an activity, such as a meeting, turn on electric current, such as for a light, start a machine, and then operate it while the power is on. To drive a car, then, would use the verb 开. Similarly, when an obstacle or blockage is removed, it is usually swept away by whatever is coming through. So this leads to yet another connotation of 开, meaning away, out of the way. For example, 丢开, to toss something aside, 丢开. And if a person always seems to be underfoot, you could tell him to get out of the way, 叫他走开, 叫他走开. Here is a possible progression in the sense development of 开. A third character in today's lesson consists of the door reticle and the moon, a depiction of moonlight filtering through a crack between the panels of a double door. Apparently, less careful writers altered the moon to resemble the sun, and this version with the sun became the standard. pronounced fourth tone, 见,见, and first tone, 间,间, for a different but related meaning. Don't be surprised by the pronunciation changes of Chinese characters. English frequently changes the pronunciation of words with an identical spelling to distinguish between nouns and verbs. For example, convert is a verb, and convert is a noun. Pronunciation is determined by the context. Fourth tone, 间, refers to the idea of separation, a gap or interval between two things. For example, 相间2寸, two or more objects with a 2-inch space between them. 相间2寸. This idea of separation or division can be applied to well-defined physical space. And this is where the other pronunciation comes in, first tone, 间. It's the measure word for houses, apartments, and rooms. Unfortunately, we haven't learned any of those vocabulary words so far in these lessons and can't supply any examples at the moment. We can, however, give other examples of physical space with the expression meaning the middle or the center. 中间, 中间. A longer phrase would be 坐在正中间, to sit right in the middle. 中间 can sometimes be rendered as 之间, as in this example, 两天之间, within 2 days. This last example clearly shows that 间 can also be used with abstract concepts, such as time. Here's a further example, the expression for time or the hour, 时间, 时间. And a longer example, 他没有时间, or 他没时间. Remember that 没有 can always be reduced to 没. An even more abstract usage refers to the world, or sometimes the universe, which, if you think about it, is just an exaggeration of the original idea of empty space between two doors. 人间, the world of mortals. And an even bigger space, 天地间, the world or the universe. Here is a summary of the possible semantic development of this character. The fourth character in today's lesson is one we just saw as the origin of 间, the crack in the door, only this time the moon element has been retained to the present day. This original version is pronounced second tone, 闲, 闲, and refers to empty, unoccupied space, and its extended meaning of a machine standing idle, a house sitting empty, free leisure time, idle chit-chat or gossip, and matters that idlers and busybodies should not concern themselves with. Quite a variety of meanings, depending on what other characters you combine it with. Whatever the expression, the meanings logically spring from the empty, unused space between two doors or a Homo sapiens' 2 ears. Light reading material can be called 闲书, and a person who has no business here is called 闲人. The following chart lists the basic meaning of 闲 and its possible sense development. The fifth character in today's lesson depicts a person peeking through a crack in the door. On being noticed, he or she quickly withdraws. giving this character the original meaning to spy on someone, to suddenly appear and then vanish. It's pronounced third tone, shan, shan. Modern meanings include to appear like a flash of lightning, to sparkle, as in this phrase, 闪闪的星星, twinkling stars. Or it can refer to lightning-quick movements, as when dodging a moving object or swerving to avoid a collision with a speeding vehicle, as in the phrase 闪开, 闪开. Again, we see the use of 开 to express moving out of the way. When a person dodges or twists their body suddenly, it's highly likely they'll wrench their lower back muscles, giving us the phrase 闪了腰, to sprain one's back. Here's a possible sense development for 闪. Our sixth character today combines the mouth radical from lesson 15 with the door or gate element serving as the phonetic. This phonosemantic compound is pronounced fourth tone, 问, 问, and means to ask, inquire, or even interrogate, depending on the characters paired with it. You may want to remember the character as meaning to ask at the door. Although etymologists consider the door to be the phonetic, phonetics usually also contribute to the interpretation of a character. Some phrases using this new character include 问好, to inquire after someone's health, or possibly to send one's regards to a third party. Most learners of Chinese already know how to say, hello, how are you, in Mandarin, although I haven't yet introduced all the characters. However, you will be able to recognize, besides hao, two more elements that we have already learned, the person, people, and the mouth radicals. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. If you're wondering why I haven't taught such basic phrases yet, it's because I'm organizing these lessons etymologically, around a single element that appears within a group of characters. To me, this seems like a more logical way to approach written Chinese. Much better than the way I had to learn it. I was told to memorize the damn characters, write them until my fingers cramped, shut up, and stop asking why they mean what they do. Like all native speakers, they knew the language, but had no idea how to help a non-native adult acquire it efficiently. I, personally, hate memorizing something without fully understanding it. Back to 问好, which simply means to ask someone if they're doing well. Here's a longer example. 他问她好. He asked her how she was doing, which could also be rendered using the directional preposition 向. 他向她问好. Both sentences mean the same. Another example. She asked his name. 他问他名字. Notice that the is not always required. We could also say, she asked him his name. 他问他的名字. Or, 他问他她的名字. Even in English, it's not clear how many males are present, 1, 2, or more. Without finger pointing, it's still not clear the number of people present. Both languages are ambiguous. Moving on to our next example. Ask her if she wants some. Ask her if she wants any. 问她要不要. Notice that indirect questions in Chinese take a question mark, whereas in English that's a period or full stop, because it's a command, not a question. Another example. Go ask the time. What time it is now, or some future event. 去问问时间. 去问问时间. You will recall that verbs, when doubled, soften the effect of an imperative. The seventh character in today's lesson is theoretically second tone in origin, but pronounced with a neutral, unstressed tone because it serves only as a plural marker at the end of personal pronouns. Obviously, the door element is the phonetic here, the character being pronounced mun, mun. The personal pronouns for they are all pronounced the same, regardless of gender. 他们. Other possibilities include the plural form for some noun phrases referring to people. Remember, however, that Chinese nouns do not have plural forms, normally, and adding men is entirely optional. For example, 太子们, 太太们, and 女生们. The final character in this lesson is the door or gate radical with the wood or tree element in the middle. This character is also pronounced second tone 弦, 弦, and originally meant a wooden fence, bar, or barrier. However, due to its pronunciation, it was, and still is, sometimes borrowed to mean the same as the character with a moon between the doors, meaning leisure or spare time. So, our example for light reading material, or novels for killing time, 闲书, can also be written with the tree component instead of the moon. In China, the character with a tree element is the only choice. When simplifying characters in the 1950s, the People's Republic of China eliminated the character with the moon element, replacing it with the tree, ostensibly to lessen the confusion between the sun and the moon. In Taiwan, all three characters, sun, moon, and tree, remain in current use. Here is our color chart with today's 8 characters: 门, 开, 间, 闲, 闪, 问, 门, and another 闲. So, what's the takeaway from today's lesson? 1. The character for door or gate is a pictogram of a set of double doors, pronounced 门. A doorway is called 门口, and the main entrance or front door is 正门. 2. Two hands removing a wooden beam barring those double doors is an important verb pronounced 开, which can refer to open up anything closed, blocked, or sealed. 开门, 开口, and 开封are examples of this. 3. Once a door is opened or a blockage removed, anything behind it will be freed to spread out. So, news and rumors will travel and water will boil. 水开了 means the water is boiling, and 开水, boiled water for drinking, is the result. 4. An extension of this idea of releasing something pent up or blocked is to turn on, start, or operate anything electrical or mechanical, such as lights, machines, computers, cars, etc. 5. Something that has been released and has spread outward is another way that kai is used to show the result of an action, similar to the English use of away. 丢开 means to toss aside, and get out of the way is 走开. 6. Originally, a pictogram of moonlight shining through a crack between two doors expressed the idea of empty space, time, or any sort of interval. As time went on, this moon element became corrupted and written like the sun instead, eventually resulting in 2 characters, one with a sun and one with a moon inside. 7. The character of the sun between two doors was used to represent the space or time between any two objects or events. Examples are 中间,之间, and 时间. This idea naturally expanded to include the space between walls, giving rise to the use of first tone 间 as the measure word for rooms and buildings. 8. Fourth tone 间 refers to the separation, division, or the gap between things, when objects are placed at regular intervals. For example, 相间2寸, items spaced 2 inches apart. 9. The original character depicting the moon between two doors, pronounced 闲, was reserved for the gap itself, the void between the doors. This could describe empty, vacant houses, idle, unused machines, bored humans with plenty of leisure time engaging in gossip or chit-chat. People not concerned with the business at hand are 闲人, and light reading material is 闲书. 10. A person peeking through a crack in the door gives us the character 闪, meaning to flash past, to suddenly appear, then disappear, to flicker, to twist suddenly in order to dodge a moving object, resulting in a sprained back. 闪闪 means to twinkle, as applied to lights and stars. 闪了腰, to sprain one's back, and 闪开, to dodge or swerve out of the way. 11. A mouth radical inside two doors is the character for to ask or inquire. 问好 refers to greeting others by asking after their health, the most common way to say hello. 12. This lesson adds another unstressed neutral tone character, 们, added to personal pronouns to make them plural. Some nouns referring to people may also take this suffix-like character in the plural, but it's never required. 13. Our final character is a tree inside the double door element, pronounced 闲, and sometimes used instead of the same sound character with a moon inside. In China, the moon version of this character has been declared obsolete. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.